Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 31 July 2025. Yeah, we're on the downside of summer, I'm afraid. But not to worry, we're having a knife sale. Yeah. If you can just make it to 9 o'clock on Thursday night. And we did. All right, so before we get into the thick of it, let's do a little bit of housekeeping as usual. First up, I need you to be familiar with and agreeable to the terms of the sale, which I will post on the screen for you in just a moment. I will also print them in the description underneath this video so you can peruse them at your leisure. Also in the description of this video, at the very top, you're going to see 3 links to previous videos on the channel. The first one goes right along with the terms of the sale. It's called a primer for buyers. And it's a 38-minute expanded explanation of those terms, why they exist the way they do, and how to navigate the sales process. So if you watch that video, this will all make much more sense to you if you're new. The second link is to my FAQs for Consignors video. That one pertains to you if you're interested in using this weekly sale to move along some of your own collection so you can generate some cash to buy some new knives, preferably on the Thursday night knife sale on the Apostle P channel. So give that a look if you need to move some knives and you don't want to mess with doing it yourself. The third link, as always, is to my rates and services video for the Apostle P Knife Service, the original precision sharpening service for the online knife community. Great time to send in knives for sharpening, by the way. Backlog is down around 2 weeks, so you won't have to wait long. Then at the very bottom of the video description, the all-important video description, you will see the list of tonight's inventory, complete with timestamps down the left side, so you can just click on the timestamp for the knife you want to look at in the video and jump right to it. And then pricing down the right side. Now in the pricing column, you will generally see 2 numbers. The one to the left of the slash is the price of your knife as shown in the video. The price on the right is as sharpened by the Apostle P Knife Service. There will be next day sharpening this week for the first 4 knives purchased to be sharpened from tonight's sale. If you fall outside the first 4, not to worry. As I said, sharpening backlog only about 2 weeks. Now, if you see the word sold, S-O-L-D, all caps, exclamation point, in the pricing column for any given item, that means it's been bought and paid for by its new owner. So there's no need to send an inquiry or an I'll take it message about anything marked sold. I think that's it. Let's get the terms up on the screen for you now, and we'll be right back with the sale. Here are the terms. All right, let's get to it, shall we? First up tonight, we've got a few leftovers from last week, and we are going to price them to sell with an interesting twist. First up, we have a legend, and I think it's a crying shame this legend got no love last week. It is a Cold Steel Code 4 Spearpoint. It has no box. It is very close to like new, but I think if you really scan the handle closely, you might find a little wear somewhere, which I'm having trouble finding at this moment. It seemed like I don't know. Anyway, it does have the right-hand clip only. Okay. I love the way that hard anodized aluminum has held up over the years, even on ones with a lot of pocket wear. Anyhow, it's a Spearpoint version of the Code 4, and it is an S35 VN steel. You have a 3 5/8 blade, a 5 1/16 handle, a triad lock mechanism. Still probably the strongest locking mechanism for a folding knife in the history of folding knives. You got the cold steel washer cocktail of phosphor, bronze, and Teflon. This blade is nice and free and locks up absolutely rock solidly. Eminently flickable. Let's look at the centering. What would you call that? What would you call that? I called it very close. Heck, I might call it closer than that. This model currently available online for a web retail price of $120. We ran this one last week at 75, got no takers, dropped it to 65 for the weekend. Are you kidding me? It's still here. Here's what we're going to do this week. If you want to buy this by itself, it's going to be $59 like it is, $84 with my edge. However, there's another way to get this knife. If you buy the next knife in the sale, which is a Hinderer XM18 3.5-inch Spanto non-flipper, early Gen 3 with an orange scale and also a free black and green scale, you're also going to get this knife if it's still available. If somebody buys it first for $59, the deal's off on the combo. Okay? So $59 like it is, $84 sharpened, or if you buy the next knife, you get this one thrown in if it's still available. That is the Code 4 Spearpoint in S35 from Cold Steel. Next up, I bet you saw this coming. So the knife comes in the Sen-Cut pouch. No original box. It is a Hinderer XM18 3.5-inch scaled in orange standard pattern G10, stonewashed frame, stonewashed blade. It is an early Gen 3. You see an extra screw here, which equates to an internal stop pin. The blade is a Spanto. It has been sharpened. It's still pretty sharp. I don't know if I did this or somebody else did, but anyway, still pretty sharp. And interesting thing, back in the day when Hinderer was really they were transitioning from custom knives to production, they did what was called a sterile blade. So no etching, but what they did was they engraved the steel type. And if you can see that, on this knife, it is CTS XHP, right? And it's a titanium frame lock, carburized lock face, no steel insert, runs on Teflon washers. And let's see, whoops. Detent, sort of light-ish, but okay, right? Flings well. Blade feels very hydraulic. I'm calling the centering very close, but not perfect on this one. It does favor the offside scale a little bit. And just so you know, if you tighten it to center it, it'll make the action less silky. So I actually adjusted it the way it is. So anyhow, I'm going to call it excellent to near mint, no box. And you're also going to get the black and neon green G10 factory Hinderer scale with it. And if you act quickly before this sells by itself, you're also going to get this Cold Steel Code 4. So we ran this knife by itself a week ago, Thursday, at $325. And then last Saturday, we dropped it to $295 and included this scale. This week, you get that, and if it's still available, that for $275. That's like the start of a great knife collection right there. So if you're new to this deal and you want to buy some high quality cutlery for low dollar, you get your daily beater and you get your trophy knife with an extra scale for $275. $300 if you want me to sharpen that XM. Next up, I'm shocked. I am shocked. This is still here. We have a Hogue with an inner pouch, no box. It is a Deka clip point in red, white, and blue, G-Mascus, and that mill pattern absolutely pops with that layered G10. Would you call that layered G10 or, I don't know, or G-Mascus? One of the two, doesn't matter. Layers of G10. Black hardware, deep carry, tip-up clip that is ambidextrous. Has the Able lock mechanism, which is a Benchmade axis lock. Thumb stud deployment, phosphor bronze washers. Ellen Elishowitz design. Blade is 20 CV. 3 1/4 inches in length. The handle, 4 5/16. rock solid lockup, a free dropping blade that is perfectly centered. This was a Smoky Mountain exclusive in red, white, and blue. Out of stock. Probably never going to be made again. When they were available at Smoky Mountain, they were $175. We ran this one last week at $130, didn't sell, dropped it to $120 for the weekend. This week, it's $110, $140 with my edge on that blade. And I'm going to tell you to act quickly, because if this sale goes well in the beginning and some of the expensive stuff moves, I'm just going to yank it, pay my consignor, and keep it. It'll definitely not see a Saturday price drop, at least not for you all. If there's a Saturday price drop for this knife, it's going in my safe. That's the Deka Clip Point, red, white, and blue, and 20 CV. Next up, I forgot to put them on the list. Anyway, what are these? RGT black linen scales for a Shaman. They appear to have been installed because there's a little bit of a shiny spot from the clip right there. I got to look at my old list. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm having trouble finding my scales. There we go. We ran so these are $70 web retail. We ran them last week at 45, no takers. Dropped them to 35 for the weekend. Let's go $29. Shipped priority mail. No need to sharpen on the black linen micarta RGT scales for a Shaman. I can't believe I did that. I really can't. Next up, a shocker. In fact, lots of these are shockers from Microtech. We have kind of a new technology knife from Microtech. It is the model number 210-10 FRGTBK MSI single edge with the Frag pattern milled G10 scales and a stonewashed standard blade. Yes, the MSI Microtech standard issue features the ram lock, which is very much like the cartridge type coil spring axis lock that came in the Benchmade Anthem. It is a superb design. There are your black G10 scales with the Frag panel. Deep carry tip-up clip that's ambidextrous with a fill tab. Blade rides on ball bearings. It is a rather stunning sheep's foot blade with a nice swedge, nice bifinish. M390MK is your blade steel. Blade length is 3 7/8. The handle's 5 inches. There's a lot of real estate. It really facilitates a choke up very well. Works great in an overhand pinch grip. It's just a very, very nicely done knife. A little large, but not super heavy. I haven't weighed it, but anyway. We'll call it like new in box. Lockup, rock solid. Action just fine. Centering, down the middle. So like new in box, perfect mechanics, available new for $251 web retail. We ran this one last week at $185, didn't sell, dropped it to $175 for the weekend. It is still here. Your price for this one, $165, shipped, priority mail. $195 with my edge on that M390MK blade. The MSI Frag from Microtech. Next, we have a knife from AZUSA, which is a retailing website with their own brand of knives. I think Micarta makes them. And the knife inside the box is the Blitzkrieg. Pretty nice little offering. Finely milled a la lion steel, full titanium handle, titanium backspacer, milled titanium pocket clip, right hand tip up, steel inserted titanium frame lock, some carbon fiber inlays near the forward gripping area. It is a ball bearing flipper. Got a swedged spear with a hole, saber flat ground. Blade steel is M390, and the model is called the Blitzkrieg, by the way. 3 3/16 inches of blade, 4 3/8 inches of handle. There's your lock engagement, right where you want it. It's rock solid. Ergos are squared away. Nice free dropper. Blade centering is on the money. Condition near mint to like new in box. I believe these are still in stock at AZUSA. You can buy new for $175 plus tax, maybe free postage. I don't know. We ran this one last week at $130. It did not sell. We dropped it to $115 for the weekend, and it still didn't sell. This week, $105 like it is, and $135 if you'd like it, with my edge on that M390 blade. That's the Blitzkrieg from AZUSA. Next up, it's kind of a crying shame this knife didn't sell. I kind of like it. From American Blade Works, in the tin, we have a Model 1. This Model 1 happens to be a V7, version 7 of Model 1, scaled in royal blue G10. Pocket clip is milled titanium, and it's ambidextrous tip up. You know, I had a guy that commented on last week's video about that clip being a bit of a pocket shredder. I don't know, maybe it is. I was going to carry it for a day so I could report to you on that, but I didn't. Anywho, here we go. Stainless steel liner lock knife. There are nested stainless steel liners on both sides. There's your engagement, just beautiful. The blade is a step milled bevel in CPM MagnaCut. Kind of a nice drop point. Milled very thinly. You can see that fine tip. Blade length is 3 3/16. The handle's 4 5/8. Blade rides on ball bearings. You can thumb it with the stud. You can flip it with the pointer. Both work equally well and very well. Lockup is rock solid. Action is beautiful and silky smooth, and the centering is, I don't know, let's see. It's very, very, very close to perfect. We'll call it like new in tin. These are currently available to be ordered on ABW's website. They're $249. Not sure if they still have the blue. We ran this one last week at $185. Got no takers. Dropped it to $175 for the weekend. This week, an American-made ball bearing flipper with thumb studs and a MagnaCut blade and a reversible titanium clip. $165 like it is, $195 with my edge. That is the Model 1 version 7 from ABW. Next up, we have, I'll just speak for a minute here. Don't package your knives so they don't fit in a standard shipping container, Jack Wolf. So we have a Javelina jack that comes with the aluminum tube only, no outer box. And here's what I'm talking about. Even with the tube and no box, and the boxes are stupid and flimsy anyway, they shouldn't even exist because they just fall apart. Make the tube small enough that it'll go in a small flat rate box. This is too big. Anyway, maybe you can't get enough artwork on it if it's smaller. But we have a beautifully designed and made split grain leather sheath that houses the Javelina jack, which is kind of like a modern interpretation of a sow belly pattern. The covers or scales on this knife are blaze orange CamoCarbon. Okay. Knife has liners and bolsters which are integral to each other, so one piece. The blade, a rather sexy little clip point, full height hollow ground with a nail nick and a little swedge. Blade steel is S90V. The blade length is 2 13/16. The handle is 3 13/16. We will call this a half stop fusion slip joint. And does it run on a... Oh, it runs on a kick, right? No internal stop pin. So that surface right there is what stops the blade in the closed position, as it should be with a slip joint. Blade centering on this one is perfect. Pull weight is about an 8. Walk and talk are squared away. We'll call it near mint in tube, no outer box, with slip. Out of stock at $2.99 web retail. They may have gone on sale for the mid-200s, but I don't know if those listings still exist. Anyhow, we ran this one last week at $190, got no takers, dropped it to $175 for the weekend. Still here. Your price this week, $165 like it is, $190 with my edge. The Jack Wolf Javelina Jack. Next up is our last leftover from last week. It is from Bradford, USA. The knife in the box is the model number 4.2S-013-MC. So it is a Guardian 4.2 in Magna Cut. Comes in a brown leather sheath. The knife is right here. The blade steel CPM Magna Cut appears to be 5/32 in thickness. There's your steel designation. I would call that a Spearpoint with a high flat saber grind. I measure the blade to the beginning of the scale, and I measure it at 4 7/8. If you measured it to about here, it would be 4.2 inches, right? Handle length, again, measuring from the beginning of the scale to the butt end of the knife, is 4.5. Scales are diamond mill pattern layered blue and black G10 with those sort of proprietary Bradford fasteners. Large forward choil. Definitely not Chinese, because you can fit an American finger in there. Nice lanyard hole. Condition will be near mint in box. With the sheath, these are out of stock. Currently, when they were available, they were $249 web retail. We ran this one at $195 last week, did not sell, dropped it to $175 for the weekend. It's still here. Let's go $165 on this one this week, and $195 if you would like my edge on that Magna Cut blade. That is the Guardian 4.2 from Bradford. All right, that brings us to the fresh stuff for this week. And if you are the first one to buy one of the next 9 knives, you're going to get the Glengarry Glen Ross Award. Do you remember what happened in Glengarry Glen Ross during the sales contest? What the first prize was? It was a Cadillac Eldorado. Second prize, set of steak knives. These aren't steak knives. They are a cheap Chinese set of kitchen knives. Sharp Select by Hessler worldwide. How many Hesslers are there in China? I don't know. They're dishwasher safe, blah, blah, blah. It's an 8-piece set, but I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because 2 of the 8 pieces are gourmet juicers. Yes, indeed. Gourmet juicers, right? So that goes to the first knife sold from the next 9. And the first of those is this right here from Buck. Made in the USA. The knife inside the long model number is 0124 BKSLE-B. We know this knife as the 124 Frontiersman. Comes in a black leather sheath. Proudly made in USA. So this is a large hunting knife. A little different blade shape than the 119 Special. A straight spine instead of a clip point. That little swedge on the front almost tricks the eye into seeing a trailing point, but it's not. High, hollow saber grind. Fairly thin. A bona fide full tang knife. Nicely hafted and polished, by the way. The scales are black linen micarta. The guard and pommel are aluminum, polished. Condition, near mint to like new, in box. Currently available at one retailer and one retailer only, and it's Amazon. And they're $180 plus tax. Your price on this one, $120. And if you buy it quick while the kitchen knives are still available, we'll throw those in too. The 124 Frontiersman from Buck. Next up, we have a Hogue from some guy named Ritter. It's the 54-136-EXL RSK. They got to stop this. The model number is too long and the name is too long. I mean, come on. Doug Ritter RSK MK1-G2. And then I got like 10 characters plus a dash in the model number. Anyway. It's an auto RSK in sunburst milled black G10. Deep carry, ambidextrous, tip-up pocket clip with the DR Maker's Mark and the Hogue Maker's Mark. Button lock auto with safety, positive click. And there's your blade in Magna Cut. 3 3/8 inches of blade, 4 11/16 a handle. Rock solid lockup. Centering, I called it very close. I think it favors the top scale ever so slightly as you're looking at it. Like new in box, currently available for a web retail price, $210 at your favorite web knife store. This one we're going to offer at $170 like it is, $200 with an ApostleP edge. And if this is the first of the 9 knives in this promotion, you'll get that free set of kitchen knives with it. The Hogue Auto RSK G10 and Magna Cut. Next up, I got a knife that I sold to this consignor about a year ago and sharpened for him. It is a Spyderco, and it's a Gayle Bradley 2 that normally would wear this absolutely adequate set of laminated carbon fiber and G10 scales, but this one is not wearing those. It's wearing a set of scales that are called, they're from Sharp Dressed Knives, and they're called Gold Dark Matter Carbon Fiber, and they are stunning on this knife. You do lose the lefty clip mount unless you want to drill them yourself, which could happen. You got your PVD-coated, polished Spyderco clip, and looks like the hardware has been changed out as well. I see sort of a blue hue. Maybe those are some titanium screws. And here's the coolest part. The blade is CPM M4, and it's been gun blued, which is kind of like a uniform forced patina. Not a bad idea. And it's wearing an ApostleP edge that feels virginal. Okay, so here you go. 3 5/8 blade. 4 11/16 handle. Is that right? No, 4 13/16 handle. It is a stainless steel liner lock. This one locks up a little later than most, but not a problem. Rides on phosphor bronze washers. Opens with a hole. Very adequately, by the way. Nice free blade. Perfect blade centering. Is the lockup secure? I don't know. Yeah. Of course it is. So I'm going to call it near mint in box because the mods that have been done are really good mods, I think. Anyway, if you buy a knife, brand new, with the original scales, just, a factory Gayle Bradley 2, current map price or web retail is $222. The scale set from Sharp Dressed Knives, $139. The ApostleP Edge, $30. So that'd be $391 total to build this knife yourself. What if you could just buy this one for $220? That's your price. No need to sharpen. And if it's the first of the 9 included knives in the kitchen knife set promotion, you get the Sharp Select 8-piece kitchen knife set with it. But if that's already gone, it's gone. Next up, from ZT, experience it. We have in this box a ZT0393 GLCF Hinderer design, so very similar to an Eclipse, with the glow carbon fiber and a 20 CV blade. And this is also wearing an ApostleP Edge. Maybe the coolest version of the 393. I didn't take a loom shot, but this is the glow-in-the-dark carbon fiber on the overlays. I call this a titanium frame lock knife with carbon fiber overlays. It's not a liner lock, to my eye. Anyhow, pocket clip, long, very usable, ambidextrous tip up with fill tab. It is a ball bearing flipper. Flips like a rocket. So you got your harpoon. What would you call that? It's not a Spanto, but it is there are 2 bevels. So I guess I'd call it a harpoon clip. And the blade steel is 20 CV. Blade length is 3 9/16. The handle is 4 3/4. Titanium frame lock with steel insert, locking up at about 30%, which is beautiful. It is rock solid. Ball bearings work just fine. Centering's perfect. Flipping action. What more would you want than that? And that ApostleP Edge is virginal. Did I see? Yeah, I'm going to call it near mint in box. The only reason not like new is because of the edge. This knife currently available for a web retail ZT map price of $340, and then you'd have had to pay $30 for me to sharpen it to get that edge. So then you'd be all at what, $370? What if you could buy this one all in, shipped priority mail, $210? Are you kidding me? And if still available when you buy this, if still available, set of kitchen knives. All right, next up, another ZT. We're going bold. This time for a ZT0562 CF Hinderer slicer design in carbon fiber. There is your black carbon fiber scale. There is your frame in stone-washed 6AL 4V titanium. I got a Hinderer lock bar stabilizer. I got a deep carry ambidextrous tip-up clip that does have a little wear on it. And a stainless steel inserted titanium frame lock. Look at that. No death lock. Fingers on lock bar, opens like a rocket. This is wearing an ApostleP Edge, by the way. It might have been touched up by the user just a hair, but it's still pretty much all me at the apex. And the blade steel is 20 CV. 3.5 blade, 4 15/16 handle. There is your lock engagement. It is rock solid. How are the ball bearings? Fairly droppy shutty. Centering is perfection. So I'm going to call this near mint inbox, slight clip wear noted. Currently available for a ZT map price or web retail of $292. And then it's got $30 of my sharpening on it. You can buy this one, though, all in, shipped priority mail, $190. No need to sharpen. And if they're still available, you got an 8-piece Sharp Select kitchen knife set. That's the 562 CF with an ApostleP edge from ZT. Next up, we got one from Hinderer. What's in here? Well, it's an XM18 3.5-inch Spearpoint working finish automatic. Yes, sirree. Look at that. I think this is such a cool handle because it's all titanium and it retains that Hinderer trademark milling that would be on a G10 scale if this were a manual XM. Pocket clip right hand tip up only on the auto knife. It opens with a button. Blade is 20 CV. And I'm just going to tell you, there's a very, very slight bit of vertical play. I don't know if that button is out of travel because it's tapered, but there is a slight bit of vertical play, but it's not going anywhere. Side play 0. Centering is perfect. Okay. Dimensions. 3.5-inch blade, 4 3/4 handle. Such a cool knife. Such a cool knife. And I guess we're going to call that a Spearpoint, right? Definitely not a Spanto. Just beautiful. These are currently, these are out of stock in this configuration when they were available. $650 web retail. This one can be yours. Near mint to like new inbox, $425 like it is, $455 with an ApostleP edge. And wait, if this hasn't been snagged with one of the other 8 knives that feature this throw-in, you're going to get an 8-piece set of Sharp Select kitchen knives. What a deal. What a deal. Next up, we've got a Stinger from Ferrum Forge. And what do they call this pattern? They call it the Hexagons pattern in the blue anno. So it looks like this was a satin handle, and then they laid a template of the hexagons over it and did a little bead blast, and then they anodized it. I think it's pretty cool. All titanium handle, button lock, manual mechanism, right hand shorty tip up deep carry clip, and it's a ball bearing flipper with a sexy little Spearpoint blade and a fuller. Blade steel on the Stinger, Nitro V, 3 3/16 inches in length, and it's wearing an ApostleP edge, and it's sticky sharp. Blade length is 3 3/16, handles 4 1/8. It is a ball bearing flipper. Lockup is rock solid. It's a free swinger, and it's centered perfectly. We will call it near mint, no box, with an ApostleP edge. Out of stock at $195 web retail in this configuration, plus the $25 that I was paid to sharpen it. So you'd have $220 in this knife, brand new. You get no box, but you get a very nice knife, and you get it for $140. No need to sharpen. And if this is the first of these 9 knives that could include the Stay Sharp Select kitchen knife set, you get them. So this comes from the one consigner who consigned 9 knives. The first one of the 9 sold gets the kitchen knives. Okay. Next up, another Ferrum forged knife with no box and an Apostle P edge. This is the Archbishop 3.0 with the, I would say that's kind of a dark wash, tumbled titanium handle. Little gear pattern, not backspacer. Those 2 halves actually meet in the middle. Milled titanium pocket clip tip up right hand only. Steel inserted titanium frame lock. Ball bearing flipper. Kind of a blasted and lightly tumbled blade in CPM 20 CV. 3 7/16 inches of blade, 4 7/16 inches of handle. It's got a scary sharp Apostle P edge on it. I mean scary. There's your lock engagement right where you want it, and it's rock solid. Very droppy shutty. Perfectly centered. Appears to be unmarked, so we're going to call it near mint, no box. The only reason not like new is because it has a way better edge than it had new. This knife is out of stock. When they were available, they had a web retail at several retailers of $268. I found one sold listing on eBay for this knife, but it was in the blue finish. It sold at $299 shipped. I don't know why the blue one would be worth $100 more than this one, but this one's going to be $195. No need to sharpen. And there's a throw-in. The first of the 9 knives by this particular consigners to sell tonight, and this could be it. If it is, you're going to get the Sharp Select 8-piece kitchen knife set by Hessler Worldwide. Ooh, wow. Come on. Be nice. Be nice. I said be nice. Okay. Next up, we have another one from Ferrum Forge. And this is really a beauty. It's the Allurus, Allurus, in a tumbled and bronze anodized titanium handle. Again, no backspacer. The 2 halves meet in the middle. It sort of emulates a gear pattern backspacer. Milled titanium right-hand tip-up pocket clip. Steel inserted titanium frame lock. Ball bearing flipper. Great flipping action. A bead blasted Spearpoint blade in 20 CV. Make sure I'm reading that right. Yes. Blade length is 3 7/16. The handle's 4.5. It is wearing an Apostle P edge, and it will be extremely sharp. There's your lock engagement. It is early but secure. Rock solid. Ball bearing action. Beautiful. Centering. Perfect. Very near mint. No box. With an Apostle P edge. These are out of stock. When they were available, they had a web retail of $220. And then this consigner paid $30 to have me sharpen it. So if you bought it new, you'd have $220 plus 30 is $250. How about we do $150 shipped priority mail? No need to sharpen on the Ferrum Forge Allurus with an Apostle P edge. And if it is the first of this consigner's 9 knives to sell tonight, you get a free set of kitchen knives from Sharp Select. That is the Allurus from Ferrum Forge. Next up, I don't say this very often, but I have a knife from Medford Knife and Tool that I actually love. What? Yeah, I'm not a big chunky knife person, but this is not a big chunky knife. It is the Slim Midi, sometimes referred to as the Marauder slim midi. And it is the Tanto version in S35VN. With the violet anodized handle, the violet anodized back spring, or spring, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Spring. I don't know. Spring? And the flame anodized hardware, brushed and flamed clip, was originally sold by GP Knives. And the big box is in there, plastic box. It's just a little beauty. Look at that. That is a gorgeous handle. Let me wipe my fingerprints off. See how it was polished almost. A super fine satin before it looks like a bronze and violet, kind of a dual, like a two-stage ano, including, well, the hardware's flame anodized, as is the clip. And you can really see that sort of fade between bronze and violet. Got a little over travel stop. It is a titanium frame lock, and I guess it is a carburized lock face. No steel insert. No reason if you do the carburizing right. And a gorgeous Tanto blade in S35VN. It is the tumbled finish. The knife, of course, rides on phosphor bronze, and it opens using the fuller. Which, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Now, Greg Medford has given a tutorial on this. He says, don't use your fine motor skills. Use your large motor skills. Draw the knife and open it with your other hand. Because that makes way more sense. Anyway. The lockup is rock solid. The centering, as with all Medfords, is perfect. The condition is very near mint in box. Let's see, dimensions. 3 5/8 blade, 4 5/16 handle. Look how thin. It doesn't have to weigh a pound. It's still very strong. Beautiful knife. Near mint in box. I couldn't find one exactly like this in stock anywhere, but I can tell you this, it would have had a web retail of $620. This one can be yours all in, shipped priority mail. $425 like it is, $455 with an ApostleP edge on that Tanto blade. When it comes to an actual pocket knife that you're going to carry and use, best Medford I can remember right there. Next up, we have one from McNeese Knives. Be nice, please, would you? Yeah, be nice, juxtaposed against a skull with a knife going through it. That was very nice, wasn't it? So we have a Mac 2 PM 3.5 inch with the atomic finish in the Frag pattern. Okay? So atomic finish would be like a working finish on a Hinderer, kind of an acid stonewash, blade and handle. Lovely Frag pattern milling. All titanium handle. Pocket clip is spring titanium, right hand tip up only. It's a pretty nice clip. The blade is a robust looking clip point with a swedge. The McNeese PM maker's mark on the show side. American flag on the back, and then your steel designation, Magna Cut. Titanium frame lock knife that rides on ball bearings. I'm just going to tell you this. The detent is extremely robust. You will want to keep your fingers off the lock bar when you flick it open, and you're going to have to bury the thumb. And that will give you calluses, my friends. There's your lock engagement. It is early but secure. It is rock solid. Ball bearing pivot is silky, smooth, and free. Centering is perfect as my eye can tell. Near mint to like new in box. Currently available for a web retail price. Oh, actually, I don't think I found the Frag pattern. I found the one that looks like jigging in the atomic finish. And that was $6.25. These, I think, are out of stock unless you can find one somewhere in the Frag pattern. But it would have been $6.25. This one can be yours. Near mint to like new in box. $3.95 all in, shipped priority mail. $4.25 with my edge on that Magna Cut blade. The McNeese Mac 2, 3.5. Next up, I got a Benchmade with no box. And it's a copper scaled bug out, which actually was a knife you could purchase like this from Blade HQ with Flytanium solid copper scales. They are milled out for lightning, but they're still heavy. And they also came with a solid copper set of thumb studs. The one flyer here is the blue anodized hardware. I don't think that's how they came, so I think that's been replaced. So as usual, axis lock bug out. S30V blade. Blade length is 3 1/4. The handle's 4 3/16. And this knife has no holes for a lefty clip mount. So it's a right-hand tip-up, shorty, deep carry, parkerized clip that's got some carry scratches in it. It's funny, though. It's kind of the only damage on the knife. Let's see, how's the edge? It's pretty virginal. Lock up, rock solid. Nearly free dropper, very nearly. Centering, rather gorgeous, wouldn't you say? So we're going to call that near mint, no box, clip scratches noted. When these were available at Blade HQ, they were $219 web retail, and they gone. This one, let's do $150 like it is, $175 with my edge. That is the bug out by Benchmade and Flytanium with the copper fade scale set. Kind of cool. Next up, we got a little Great Eastern cutlery run. How cool is that? First among them, from the Farm and Field Tool line, we got a 71 bullnose in green linen micarta, model 715121. It's the OG of the Sodbuster. It's not really the OG because it's not 01 steel, but gorgeous linen, micarta handle, steel liners and spring. About a, I don't know, I guess I will call that an 8 pull. On the drop point blade, there's your bullnose etch. Blade steel's $10.95. Walk and talk, slightly gritty on this knife. It's a work knife. It's a heavily sprung, tightly assembled, beat it to death knife. And I believe, yes, it's got my edge on it. I think I must have sold this before, I think. So anyway, closed length is 3 7/8. Centering's perfect, though, by the way. And the edge is perfect. We'll call the condition near mint in tube. They're always out of stock. I did find one sold listing. No, I found several sold listings on eBay, ranging between $198 and $314. This has got $20 worth of my sharpening on it, and it is in superb condition. Let's run this one this week at $185. No need to sharpen. The GEC Farm and Field 71 bullnose OD linen with an ApostleP edge. Next up, I think this was my knife. I think. Because I think I remember this sale. It's a Titty Ute, and it's a 74 Mustang, model 745120 in brown burlap micarta with button. And there's the knife. I love the 74 Mustang. I actually love this 74 Mustang. But I had other things to buy, and I sold it, and it's back. Closed length is 3 7/8. There's your brown burlap, satin finished hardware. So they show pocket wear, the shield and bolsters. There is your drop point blade in 1095. Beautiful drawn swedge, nice and graceful. And of course it's wearing an ApostleP edge. There'll be no need to sharpen. Walk and talk, beautiful. Beautiful. And the centering, I don't know, would perfect be okay? Because that's what you're going to get. Near mint in tube with my edge. These are out of stock, of course. I found one knife that sold on eBay, and it was a 205 by it now that sold on a best offer. Can't imagine it was nicer than this one. Near mint in tube with button. Your price $180 with an ApostleP edge. Next up, this is a version of a GEC knife that I've never seen, and it's super cool. It's a Northfield knife, but it was a special factory order for Northwest Knife Company. It's a 78 bullet end Barlow in smooth white bone, model number 781224, and this is serial number 19. And I can't remember how many they made. I don't know how many they made. It's even got, look at that, like a notary stamp for a certificate of authenticity from Northwest Knife Company. Pretty cool. And you get a button. Oh, you get a knife too. And the 19 is engraved in the mark side bolster. Triple lined, long Barlow bolsters, but still have a houndstooth shield. Love the smooth white bone. Got a little bit of figuring in it, and that'll look better as the years go by. Closed length is 3 13/16. My only quibble with these later 78s is they don't have 8.5 pull weights. I will call this one 7.5. And then your secondary is that big, gorgeous, usable pen blade. That's a great looking blade, boys. Walk and talk, pretty nice. A little hydraulic, it'll get better. Near mint to like new in box. I found one of these sold on eBay recently. It did $345 shipped. It's a pretty special version of the 78 bullet end Barlow. And it's tastefully done. Let's go $250 on this one, $280 with an ApostleP edge. That's the JC Northfield number 78 Barlow for Northwest Knife Company. Next up, this is actually the wrong tube for this knife. It is a Northfield unexcelled knife, but it should have a yellow rose label. It does not. And it had another retailer's label on the back. But it is a number 818222, 81 Coon Skinner, yellow rose, with an ApostleP edge on both blades. So you have smooth yellow bone, the round rose shield, double line nickel silver bolsters, brass liners, and then dueling muskrat clips with match striker nicks. And because this is a congressing knife and a pretty tight blade well, it has normal rub from where the blades congress. But sweet walk and talk. And that is not standard for a great Eastern cutlery cam-tang knife, which this is. It's beautiful and snappy. Really nice. I'll call that pull weight 6.5. Perfect walk and talk with normal rub. The ApostleP edges on both blades. These are out of stock. And by the way, 4 inches of close length. Sold listings on eBay run between $178 and $199, and there were maybe just 2 of them. Those, of course, didn't have my edge on them, and I can't speak to the walk and talk on those because I haven't had them in my hand. I can tell you this. This one can be yours for $170, shipped priority mail. No need to sharpen. That's the 81 Coonskinner Yellow Rose with ApostleP edges from Great Eastern Cutlery. Next up is the Rob's Pick tonight. So this knife was not on the early bird list. It's reserved only for 9 o'clock on Thursday. It is from the Acorn line, Great Eastern Cutlery Practical Knives, 440C stainless steel. It is an 86 Barlow, model 861121 in OD canvas micarta. Yes. I don't own one, and it's kind of my favorite GEC Barlow ever. So in order that I not do something stupid, I made it the Rob's Pick. Now this has been carried. It's got some wear from carry. Now that would take minutes to make look new again, or seconds. Anyway, 3 7/8 inches of closed length, single clip point blade on half stops in 440C. Looks like the same clip point that goes on the Jack version of the 86. And for some reason, it looks like there's been a little polish done. The etch is a little bit light, and the blade's a little bit shiny. Pull weight, I'm going to say 7.5. Walk and talk is stunning. I mean, stunning. Centering is perfect. Near mint in tube, carry where noted. Out of stock. Sold listings on eBay range between $229 and $295. Let's do this one. $200 all in, shipped priority mail. $220 with my edge. I love the oak leaf acorn stamp in that bolster. I just love it. All right, next up, we go from traditional to fusion slip joint. This one's from Lion Steel. The label tells you very little. It's a Bestman, which is a cool curved-handled jack with jade G10 scales. Hard to see, but there are some mill lines for like a faux bolster effect. Black backspacer, titanium liners, DLC-coated clip point blade with long pulls on both sides, sort of long, cut swedge. M390 is your blade steel. The blade length is 2 7/8. The handle's 3 13/16. This does close on an internal stop pin, so no kick. It's going to give you that funny thunk when you close it, right? But walk and talk are beautiful. 7 pull. Centering is perfect. We'll call it near mint in box. Discontinued, out of stock, and unobtainium. I can't find a listing anywhere for this knife. Got to be worth $95, right? That's your price. $120 if you'd like it with my edge. That's the Lion Steel Bestman in jade and DLC. It was a Blade HQ dealer exclusive. Shocking with that colorway, right? Next up, we have one from Kershaw. Made in USA. It is the model number 7550, aka the Launch 11. I like the Launch 11 a lot. It's a great EDC automatic. Looks like my consignor must be a lefty because he's got the clip moved. You got a black hard anodized aluminum handle. You have a black ambidextrous tip-up pocket clip with a little wear near the end. Got a button lock automatic, a bronze anodized aluminum pivot collar. And here's why I think it's a great EDC blade, because of that modified sheep's foot with a little belly in black washed CPM 154. Blade is 2 7/8 inches in length. The handle's 3 15/16. It is a button lock automatic. It's very thwacky. It doesn't jump out of your hand, but it opens with authority. Yeah. Blade length is 2 7/8. Handle's 3 15/16. Centering on this one, I don't know. It's not quite perfect, which is rare for a launch. It's very close. I don't know. Maybe it's perfect. What do you guys think? It's awfully close. Near mint inbox. Web retail ranges between $130 and $150. So one website's got them on sale for $129.99. So Kershaw must have given a dispensation for that. So let's say that's the retail price, $130. Let's do $95 shipped priority mail all in for this one. No postage, no sales tax. $95 to your door quickly. $120 if you'd like it with my edge. That's the Launch 11 from Kershaw. Next up, this is the save me from myself moment of tonight's sale. From Kershaw, made in the United States of America, we got a 4320 Federalist. I remember reviewing this knife. It was one of my USA-made knife reviews for Knife Ship Free. And I liked it. It is a double detent fusion slip joint, scaled in OD green canvas micarta. This one's wearing a little leather thong lanyard with a brass hex bead. So you have a detent at the closed position, another one at half stop, and another one at full open. So really, wouldn't that be a triple detent? I don't know. But look at that blade. Isn't that cool? A gorgeous little clip point. And your blade steel is CPM 154. Nothing wrong with that. Blade stock looks like 80,000. Superb slicer, full flat ground. Great handle. Plenty of real estate. You know, this is kind of like a fusion sod buster with a clip point instead of a drop point. Really, it's super cool. I'm not really going to tell you there's a pull weight because there's no spring, just detents. Blade length is 3 1/4. The handle is 4 5/16. The centering is, it's kind of all over the place, frankly. I can make it look perfect. Sometimes it closes, it looks like it's off. We'll say this is near mint in box. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I think these things had an original map price of like $160 or $170. Well, they just didn't sell. Current web retail, you can find these between $78 and $90. We're going to offer this one to you at $60 like it is, $85 with an ApostleP edge, the 4320 Federalist from Kershaw. Next up, these next two, well, they just make me smile because I love them. Benchmade Blue Class 560 BK-1 Freak. They should just start putting Super Freak on the label. Shouldn't they? I mean, it is a Super Freak. You guys know this knife. Again, my consignor must be left-handed. There's your ambidextrous tip-up Parkerized split arrow clip. One of my favorite clips of all time. Black and gray layered G10. Seemingly random milling to reveal the colors, but it's probably not random at all. red liners, red hard anodized aluminum standoffs, axis lock mechanism, thumb stud deployment, phosphor bronze washers on the pivot, a Cerakoted blade in CPM M4. Blade length 3 9/16, handle 4 7/8. Now this has been used and sharpened. I think I sharpened it, but it's been used a little since I sharpened it. It wouldn't hurt, right? But I'm going to give you a deal. I'm not going to charge you $30 to resharpen. I'm only going to charge you $25. Even in M4. Rock solid lockup. Free swinging blade. Perfect centering. Near mint inbox. Currently available brand new for $280. This one can be yours for $190 like it is, $215 with my edge on it. That is the 560 BK1 Super Freak from Benchmade. One of the best large folders ever to come out of Oregon City. Next up, another Benchmade, another blue class knife. This, the Blade HQ exclusive 940 BK-2004. If you'll remember from years ago when these were released, I reviewed these and said, if Benchmade made a knife for me, this would be it. I love the JG10. I love the translucence and how it shows through the black bits on the inside. I love the Parkerized split arrow clip. I love the axis lock. I love the reverse Tonto blade. And I love CPM M4. Yes, black Cerakoted M4. And this one just happens. It's wearing an old ApostleP edge. So again, I'm not saying it's dull at all, but I'm only going to charge you $25 if you want me to sharpen it. It's not dull. Anyhow, 3 3/8 blade, 4 7/16 handle. Phosphor bronze washers, very near free dropping action. Eminently flingable, right? We'll say excellent to near mint inbox. Currently available for a web retail at Blade HQ, the exclusive retailer, for $234. This one, $175 like it is, $200 if you'd like my edge. That is the 940 BK 2004 Osborne Jade and M4. Next up, got a Spyderco. It is a Sage 5 in mint green FRN. So it's a Sage 5 FRN, which is the compression lock Sage. The mint green indicates it might be a Blade HQ exclusive. Let's see. If it says M4 on the blade, it does! Yeah, and somebody has added this button to the compression lock, kind of like a smock, right? But on the other side. Rides on phosphor bronze, and it rides very smoothly. Opens with a hole. Blade centering is perfect. Rock solid lockup. Blade length is 3 inches because it's a Sage. The handle's 4 3/16. This is interesting. They were a Blade HQ exclusive. They've been gone for a while. KnifeWorks has one in stock. And it says Blade HQ exclusive. It's a used knife available at KnifeWorks. And they want $154 plus tax and postage. I found one sold listing on eBay. It did $192 shipped. This one, with the added button, let's do $140 like it is, $170 with an ApostleP edge. That is the Sage 5 FRN in mint and M4 from Spyderco. Next up, I think I teased you guys about this knife yesterday because because I think it's a pretty special knife, especially for what you're going to have to pay. It is from Boker Manufaktur Zolingen. So, not tree brand, but made in Zolingen, right? And this is kind of a special knife. It's the Boker 2020. It's kind of a back pocket slip joint for their 150th anniversary. And this is number 81 of 150. Looky there. 440C blade, flat ground, semi-polished blade, reed satin, I guess. No, I guess, yes, reed satin, with curly birch stabilized covers. Here we go. 5 1/4 inches closed length, nickel silver bolsters and end caps, brass liners, and watch that curly birch move. Look at that chatoyance. Oh, it gets better. Cam Tang, clip point blade, 1869 to 2019. 150 years, and look at that gold anno on that engraved tree. How cool is that? There's your etch, 81 of 150. Pull weight, 7, maybe 6.5. Cam Tang. Walk and talk beautiful, and the centering is close. Condition like new in box. Discontinued, out of stock. I think when they were new, they sold for around $130. Can't find one anywhere. Your price for this one, $110 like it is, $135 with an ApostleP edge. That is the Boker Zolingen 2020 anniversary knife, and it's a beauty. Next up, we got a Kaiser. It's a V3603C1 M key. Oh, what is that? I guess it says SS1. Anyway, here we go. Purple, satin finished, slightly crowned G10 scale set. Pocket clip, black, deep carry, ambidextrous tip up. It is a front flipper. Tonto in 154 cm, 2 13/16 inches of blade, 3 13/16 inches of handle. A little bit of clip wear. There's your lockup on your stainless steel liner lock, early but secure. Super free ball bearings. Perfect blade centering. I'm going to call it excellent in box because that clip wear is kind of significant. I don't think it's worthy of being called near mint. Discontinued and out of stock. When these were available, they had a web retail between $55 and $65. This one can be yours all in, shipped priority mail. $11.70 worth of postage included. Your price $35. $65. I sharpened that little Tonto blade. The Kaiser V3603C1, designed by M-Key, and I guess that the model is the SS1. All right, that brings us to the last item in tonight's sale. It's from Boker, and it's a knife roll. So we got a little Velcro panel with an ID card slot and a little window. Good quality Velcro, good quality ballistic nylon. 12 slots. And it's in very nice condition, very near mint. It's called the Knife Vault. If you look on Boker's website. They're discontinued and out of stock. They got a newer version. These were $50 web retail when they were new. Let's do this one at $30 shipped priority mail. No need to sharpen. That, my friends, brings us to the end of another weekly knife sale on the ApostleP channel. Hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp. Now go buy some knives. I'll talk to you soon.